Yeah, saying no is one thing, accepting no is another thing.
When is the best time to correct your parents?
Either, oh, you want to tell me that you're wiser than
Why
me?
that you don't correct your spouse like you're correcting a child.
God is interested in how you wake up in the morning.
There must be a clear demonstration of the power of God.
See, I did high octave and low octave.
You guys are going to enjoy today's episode.
Today.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I climb to the highest mountain.
Hello, welcome to UNWALLED. Another great episode where we discuss things that we regularly do not discuss in church. And here I have Mr. Cinwon and my man, Mr. John Nankre, Manda. You're all welcome to this great episode, and
thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. We should thank you all for coming. So yeah, I remember back then when I was in primary school, I was still growing. I guess you all can remember this particular question, or let's say statement. We are the leaders of tomorrow. It shocked you. Hey, they laugh. Okay. Yeah, I used to be the leader of tomorrow. I'm not sure about myself, you know. But yeah, what do we do from here? We've been hearing we are the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Tomorrow never reach.
Well, I believe our tomorrow is now. Yes. If you're talking as youth,
yeah. Yes,
our tomorrow is now.
He says our tomorrow is now. Mr. Cinwon.
Okay, so it was Nelson Mandela that said the youths of today are leaders of tomorrow. And when you think about that, you just take a quick survey 10, 15 years ago. Maybe let's say when you were in primary school, secondary school, they asked you, what do you want to be in future? And everybody said, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. And if you look at it now, that is that future. So the tomorrow they've been talking about has come. So are youths the leaders of tomorrow? I think that tomorrow is now, and we are the leaders of today. We have the capacity to be leaders of today. So yeah, I subscribe to the thoughts that we are leaders of today, not tomorrow anymore.
Okay, but along the line, do you feel the young people are equipped for the leadership role?
Being equipped, directly, indirectly, garnering education is not enough.
Okay.
Yes. For the kind of leadership we speak, that is political leadership.
Yes, in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. The world over, you look at the demographic of leaders, world leaders, they fall largely below the age of 60, between 40. But in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, reverse is the case.
Yeah.
So this demographic, they appear in a very small majority, small number. So they're a minority. But being equipped directly and indirectly is to participate early enough in politics and to position oneself where your values will be seen. Not to be used as political thugs, not to be used as, they call them data boys now, where they just hide behind the screen and tweet or Facebook or Instagram online. So that's the best some politicians take youth for.
All right. Let me hear your take.
Are the youth equipped for leadership? Okay. I think yes, the youth are equipped for leadership, and I'll say why I think so. If you look at the most lucrative or the fastest growing sectors in Nigeria currently, you see that they are mostly driven by youths. Let's look at the tech sector, especially the fintech sector. The fintech sector has been able to raise 3 unicorns, that is 3 fintech companies that have been valued at over $1 billion. All of them have been driven by youth. I know one of them, the 2 founders are less than 30. These are companies that are controlling more GDP than some smaller African companies. These are companies that if you add their valuations, is controlling more GDP than some African countries. And they are being...
Would you like to tell us these companies?
Flutterwave, Paystack, Piggy Tech now, formerly Piggyverse, that's now Piggy Tech. They are bought over a big app. So those are just the 3 unicorns we have.
I think we
now.
need to talk about Flutterwave.
Yes.
But not now.
Yes, I know Flutterwave issues, but yeah, I'm just saying that we know that these are just the 3 that in the last 2 years they've raised valuations like that, and they are all driven by young people. Look at the entertainment sector; it's one of our those are one of our global sectors that is doing Nigerians proud all around the world, and they are spearheaded by young people. So the argument of if we're equipped for leadership, I think we have the capacity to, but also leadership there should be a cross carpet where we bring the energy of the youth and the experience of the older ones to because national development is never one-sided. We need a holistic approach and a collective approach. So while I believe the youths are properly equipped, I also think yes, we still need the guidance and the experience of the older people.
So, Mr. Nankre, you're talking about the difference, or let's say the average age of
world leaders.
Yeah, world leaders
versus Nigeria.
And and you're talking about how we can merge the young and the old to make up like a better form of leadership in Nigeria. I think it's going to be a wise idea for us to look forward in a positive, I would say in a positive area, to gather the wealth of experience we can gather from the good leaders we have, older leaders, to say. So, I would like to ask, what do you think we need as young people? What do you think we need to move forward as leaders?
So, okay, what I think young people especially need is we need more inclusivity and we need more opportunities. You see that as soon as a Nigerian leaves the young Nigerian leaves the border of Nigeria, they just turn out to be something different. They excel in literally anything they do. That is because there are more opportunities. And I spoke about inclusivity, and I'll say something. I remember when the CBN did the crypto ban, there were a lot of young people that were on the crypto wave, making a lot of money, creating jobs and all. But a simple policy just came and set a lot of people out of jobs. But I think normally how policy is being made is policy is supposed to be inclusive. So when a policy like that was supposed to be made, there was supposed to be a round table with key industry drivers, have a deliberation, then a more practical communique would have come out of that. And it would have been better for all of us. So the two things I think young people need is opportunities and inclusivity. And I just want to add something else to the point I made about the experience of the older ones and the energy of the youth. National development is like a football match, and a football match is where you have 11 players. So when Nigeria is a team, we're playing with 11 players. That is the women, the men, the youths, the adults, whatever. So if you exclude a percentage of that, the youths are about 60%. So from your football team of 11 players, if you take out 60%, you're playing with 4 players, and you're going to play with a team that is playing with their complete 11 players, you definitely lose. So that's just it. We need more inclusivity and opportunities.
Okay. The reason why I asked the question, I'm still coming back to, earlier you spoke about football.
Yeah,
and I said we'll come back
for that.
And giving the opportunity, where you spoke about Nigerians living the shores of the nation and doing excellently well because the facilities are there for them to export. So now, have we thought about the Nigerians in the age bracket of 30 doing well but giving us a bad name? For instance, we have the issue of photo activities, even in Kenya, it was banned.
Yes, for money laundering, yes.
2 days ago or 3 days ago. So what's the take on that?
So the thing is, there in every scenario there are bad eggs. If you look at the older people too, if we want to even look at the statistics, how many? I'm sure even recently we saw a Nigerian legislator accused of organ harvesting. I know he has been cleared for it. But I'm just giving an example that when you look around, even the old is everywhere. In every demographic, there are the bad eggs. So the issue is for now it's still an accusation. I know, but let's see how the case unfolds.
Okay. All right. So how do you get involved in politics in our time?
Okay. Involvement in politics, as I said earlier, is direct and indirect. So when we talk of direct, we talk of voluntary service. I have volunteered for a campaign that, where by the grace of God, we succeeded. During this voluntary period,
do you mind to share?
Yes, I wouldn't mind. Campaign for a governor who came to be. Now, sometimes I sit and people ask, what happened? Why are you not in the government house? Why are you not in the cabinet? Why are you not? I said, no. Sincerely, as myself, it wasn't time for me to be there.
You're sure you're not?
No, I'm not. No, I wasn't. But then we directed them. Yes. So having to bring in value in an election campaign, in a political party with a candidate. You could support a candidate directly and work for the candidate. You're participating in politics.
Now you're telling us how to start.
Yes.
As young people.
As young people.
Right.
You could support a candidate with a political party that you believe in their ideologies as men of youth of faith. You pitch your tent where God is sending you to. You pitch your tent where the Holy Spirit directs your feet. So directly or indirectly. Indirectly are those that you don't even know but are promoting genuinely the cause of a political campaign, the cause of an ideology, the cause of a movement. Because if you look at the profile of most of our political leaders, you will see how in one way or the other they participated. Voluntarily, most of them, some involuntarily. I will give you an example. The first time I met Chief Obasanjo, Obasanjo, OBJ, we're passing, he wasn't a president. We're passing, there was an accident along Jos Road. I was in junior secondary. So our principal cited him and said, hey, wait. This is likely the next president of Nigeria. Since there is hold up, no movement, all of you come out of the bus and greet him. So I just looked at, who is this man? He's about to be president and they said we should stop and greet him. So I began to have interest in politics. So I find myself interested in political discussions, interested in political gatherings. But then I'm a Christian. So you go to political gatherings sometimes, they are the bashed parties. But that is where your interest is. So I found it very interesting to balance my ideology of political affiliation versus my faith. A brother in church was about to enter my car and saw some tags, political party tags. And he stepped out. Like, if I'm supporting this party, he doesn't think we're supposed to be having discussion together. I said, okay, no problem. Have a nice day. I was so happy that he didn't care to know the light I was shining or not, but his own view was the negative perception which he had inherited. Because we rarely form our own as youth. We inherit it. So what was he inheriting? Things he was hearing. So as Christian youth, I will advise our participation in politics should come in the way and manner we can carry. You have a regular job, you could do support, you could be known by a politician that you're supporting his cause, by a political party that you're promoting their cause. When the time comes, even if you don't go in active politics, but when you say, they will hear. So if we keep mute, and the issue of reward, hard work, fast, quick reward. Our youth are strangely looking for quick solutions. They want to make it very fast. You don't think of, if I position myself here, by 2027, maybe I will come in actively in an elective position. But we want reward. They want blackmail, cheap blackmail. Hey, I worked for you for 2 months. You didn't give me what I'm worth. I know what you're supposed to. I think if we look at the quick reward profit for participating in politics now, we're going to lose it. I remember when Frank Weke Jr. was minister, he was well celebrated and he did well for himself. So we have other youth in politics that sadly are not doing well. That shouldn't be our focus. We should learn from their mistakes. So when we come in, we've already covered that area. What did he do wrong? What did she do wrong? So we avoid those things and look at the positives.
All right, thank you. Mr. Alli-Bob.
My boss.
I think you have something different to tell us.
So I just want you to go over the question again. So.
All right. So the question is, we as youth, how do you get involved? How do we start? Where do we start from as youth?
Okay, first things first is I'll quote one of the presidential candidates, that's the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was addressing some youth. He said, power is never given a la carte. That means nobody will serve you power on a plate.
Yeah.
That is, you have to work for it. So when a lot of young people want to get involved in politics, if you actually look at if you study the system, you see that there's a very clear procedure. Do you understand? You just have to put in the work and it works. There's a clear procedure. Get involved, and there are different ways to get involved. You can get involved as a voter. That is, find a candidate, support a candidate, and vote. That is totally fine. But one thing we have to understand is the voter's choice is the choice of the party. So when you want to get involved and your involvement is restricted to just being a voter, you have to understand that as a voter, your choices are very limited because your choices are based on the outcomes of the political parties. So when you now come in and as a voter, it's fine, but you have limited your chances. But if young people can infiltrate a political party and the political system, that is when you can have a voice. That is when you can there are conversations about the delegate system and all of that, but our democracy is still relatively very young, and I know it will get better. So I think getting involved should be two-sided. You can, but most appropriately, I think young people should infiltrate the system. When we infiltrate the system, we have a better chance and a better opportunity at being heard and being considered.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned Tinubu.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, I quoted him.
I understand. I totally understood what you said, even as Christian. So, but to sum up, because I think your ideas are all together. So you're trying to say, even as Christians, we can go into politics and even start grassroots level.
Sure.
Because when you mentioned Tinubu, I agree, because that man knows what he's doing because he has the grassroots and he can big things. So I think we're moving forward. So yeah, as young Christians, young people again in the society, do you think it's a good idea to go with a party? Even after going with the party, maybe registering with the party. How do we go about registering with the party? How do we get involved?
Okay. Getting involved is simple. You identify your ward, identify your ward leaders, get registered if you're led to. There are restrictions for those who are working actively in government. There are restrictions of how they can participate in political parties. But it is never wrong. I don't know if we're in Abuja, if you know who is the councillor of Wuse Ward. So you don't think that in Wuse Ward, members of a church could support a candidate, not coerced, genuinely support a candidate and win? Now, let me tell you who the councillor is. One of the political parties, fronted, not the political party. His comrades came together and said, we have been marginalized in this town. We need a voice. And they projected the guy. He came in and strongly, he won. And do you know who his comrades were? Scavengers. He said the law doesn't favor them. And how can they change the law? Say, okay, let's have a representative. We are many, we can influence the movement. As little as you think that councillor is, they projected him, he came up, Wuse Ward, and he won. So that is direct, both direct and indirect approach. He's a youth. He was able to harness the power of other youth to come in, and they voted him. During the area council election, we were able to gather some statistics, went around. The participation was very close to zero. There were wards like GSS Student Water. The electoral officers were just there in 4 hours, 4 voters, 1 per hour averagely. So maybe people have lost interest or they didn't just care who rules them, who makes decisions. Tomorrow, if you wake up and say, there is a new law, AMAC said all signboards should go down. There was nobody to speak for your office. There was nobody to speak for your church. There was nobody to speak for your youth organization. Whose fault? So the youth, actually, we must show good reason to be endorsed. You must participate. By participation, you must participate as register as party members. That is the infiltration he was talking about. You register infiltration not in a bad way, but for good cause. Register. When they are doing meeting, they will call you. But when they notice your value, they will insist you should be there for that meeting. You should be stakeholders. So how do you see this? That is how it starts. Tomorrow they will gang up and say, we feel you are the best to represent us. That was originally your aim, but it didn't come selfishly. You gave value, they identified value, and they needed you to lead the cause.
Maybe, can I even say, I think Matthew 5 or Matthew 3 that spoke about we being the sons of men. So I think we should, as Christians,
we should know pattern where we should be headed. When you kneel in the place of prayer, what do you ask God for? Just your luxury, good health, safe journey? You should ask for what is my direction as pertaining the leadership. Your children will suffer a lot if you don't put hand in this.
God should ask God for the party to join and to register.
To join, to register part-time, whatever you do. If you're not in sync with the Holy Spirit, you're on your own.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Alli-Bob, what you said?
You said, must you have a political party?
Yeah,
that's the question.
Is it okay to have one?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, it is not a must. It is not it's not a must, but it is important to do so. And politics all around the world is interest. And I'll say, if we look at the 3 leading candidates for the 2020 election, they have the 3 different mandates. There's somebody coming to tell you, oh, let's move from consumption to production. There's somebody coming to tell you that, oh, there's somebody coming to tell you, oh, I think it is my turn because I have done this. There's somebody coming to tell you that
you can mention their names.
There's somebody coming to tell you that, oh, let's run a capitalist government where we empower the private sector. So politics is interest. If you want to go in, you look at whichever one favors your interest. For example, if I'm a student and I'm on strike, I've not been in school for 6 months, I definitely know where I'll align with. So that's just how it is. Before we do these things, there's information all around. We're in digital age, there's information online everywhere. So the politics is interest. Find which of the parties, the candidates aligns with your interest. Not necessarily your selfish interest, but which aligns with the greater good as well. Align with them and make it work.
So if you remember about, like some few months ago, if I remember this particular party, presidential aspirants, they all paid about 100 million to get a form. So we can all see that politics is expensive.
Very expensive.
Yep.
We are young people. The day you have 100 million in your account, I think you'll be listing you should sleep in the EF system for a while. So we all know that this is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you navigate this expensive? It's a mission. I'll call it a mission.
Yeah.
So how do we?
So first of all, politics all around the world is expensive. Anybody that comes to tell you can run politics without money is wishful thinking. It's not going to happen. It's not possible. But there are always creative ways to run your politics and your campaign. And I'll give you a very clear example. When President Obama was going to run for president, he realized the cost of running an election, and he was one of the first people that started a door-to-door campaign. So there always politics is expensive, but there's always a way to navigate it. Secondly, is for even in the United States of America, one of the criteria to run for president is you must be a successful person. So if you are, as an individual, you've not been able to build and grow wealth, I think you don't have a business going there, because if you've not been able to build, sustain, and grow wealth, how do you now want to grow the wealth of a community or a society? So politics around the world is expensive. It will never come down. So as young people, we should try and stack up our paper, like literally, and go into it. We should build alliances. You see, when these big political parties and political players are doing their thing, they understand these things very well. They know how to build alliances. They know today they are fighting, tomorrow they are together. They know how to build alliances. They know how to say, oh, you come, let's do this. When when it happens, we do this, we do this, we do this. So young people also need to do that. That we cannot go alone. Come with a force. When you come with a force, you definitely make it happen.
If it doesn't make the
Yes,
forest,
definitely.
Yeah,
So,
do you want to share with us?
Yeah, sure. As he rightly said, cost of politics will never go down. Nigeria is not an exception. And there's never a person that will be voted because, oh, he doesn't have money. You'll be loved, you'll be adored, you'll be wanted. But you cannot even finance your movement. I don't think you have
possible.
business with active politics of want to be a candidate, aspirant, or a leader.
But you know, Nigeria made that mistake. We're still in that mistake.
We're still in that mistake. Yes,
So-
we're still there. We're still there. But that particular person built alliances, had the pity of the grassroots, had the mercy of the big
Elites.
pockets. They came together and promoted that cause. I'll give you an example of my principal, as he then was. When he was going for campaign, he placed phone calls to his associates, and they started donating because he has value, because they believe in that product, that he as a product to be placed in that office had value, and they were willing to stake their monies. We know of people that will just distribute money across board just for peace to reign. Whoever comes up, let me not be at the receiving end of a governor or a president. Apart from those that will say, that project, I can't put my money there. You build alliance, you project your CV, you must be a successful person. Politics is changing. We're seeing a more saner claim where Nigerians with substance are looking at the table. They are looking at going forward. And when a political party puts a ticket for 100 million, they put a caveat to it. Say, if you don't have this value, you don't even have a business to be Nigeria's president. We have 774 local governments, and you're expected to tour all of that, or your money will tour it for you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Nankre. I think you have loads and loads of information to share with us. We'll beg you to visit us again and share more.
I'll be
of this.
available.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so
And
much.
Mr. Bob, thanks.
Thanks.
But I would like you maybe to share some line, just maybe one sentence, last word to what you want to see you do even in politics.
Okay, so I'll just wrap up by saying Abraham Lincoln said, "I do not care who my grandfather was, I only care who his grandson is going to be." That is saying that whatever has happened has happened. Let's just look towards the future and try to make the future a better place. So whatever has happened in Nigeria, as we've seen it, let's just look towards the future and try to ensure a better place for ourselves and our children.
Oh, thank you. Anything for the
Yes, for the use of Nigeria, most especially Christian youth, register for your PVC, collect your PVC, use it appropriately. Ask the Holy Spirit and He will always answer you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I think you guys have all said the most important thing we have here is for the youth to go back to grassroots. It's not too late to start. The future is greater than what we have now.
Sure.
And the earlier we go back and be the salt of the earth, even in politics, I think we'll become a better nation. So thank you for being here with us. We hope to see you next episode. Thank you, and
Thank
see
you
you
so much.
next.
It's my pleasure.
Please subscribe to our channel, like and share. We always want to see your comments so that we can respond and know what to do with you guys. Thank you.
I climb to the highest mountain.